You are now live. I always say this. We're telling your followers that you've started a live video. I always like to read that because it gives a gravitas to the situation. Hello everyone. This is so exciting. This is one of the most exciting interviews ever that Quip has ever been lucky enough to do. When I say Quip, I mean Quip, really, because we are waiting for the most. Oh my God, she's here, right? She's waving. So now, okay, so she's joined. Oh God, I forgot what I do. Wave, and then Angela Makholwa from the Blessed Girl is going to talk to me, but I just have to do. Oh, hi Helen. So I do that. So I'm. Just bear with me, everyone. This is why it's seat of the pants. Kath, request to be accepting the request. I'm so excited. Angela, are you there? I love you so much as a writer. So maybe what we have to do is we're going to talk to Angela. Oh, she's here. I'm going to have to fill in. How are you? I still haven't.
I'm fine, Helen.
Have you done lots of these before? Probably.
Well, I've done about 2, and the first one I was completely beheaded.
Yes.
Throughout the entire thing. So the first thing I want to establish is, can you see my entire face?
And actually, we're going to have a wonderful time because both of our faces are visible. My first one, it was like sideways because I had the thing the wrong way up. I watched you on YouTube today, and I was thinking you have done interviews. You are a good interviewee, but
I hope so, Helen.
Instagram is like, oh, and everyone's going, yay, all the people, because there's that anxiety.
I know.
Welcome.
I think this is our opportunity to redeem ourselves. We've got both our full faces in view, so it's a good start.
Excellent start. We've got the vagina emblem above my head.
Brilliant.
To crown our, I can't tell you how excited I am to talk to you, Angela, because I'm not a judge of the prize, but you are longlisted, and I've literally just put this book down again, obviously because I thought maybe it would be polite to read the book again before I talk to the wonderful author. And can I just say that I don't know another word for roller coaster, but has anyone else said that this book is a roller coaster to you? Because my heart's still beating.
Yes. Definitely. Actually, one of my first readers, when it first came out here in South Africa, that was one of the blurbs on the cover of the book, that it's a roller coaster of emotions. Yes.
And I don't really know what roller coaster means. I just knew that when I got to the very last
Have you not been on a roller coaster before? Have you not been on a roller coaster ride before?
Not for years, Angela. It wouldn't be wise. But it was like literally, I was like an animal having to turn, and it was quite ugly if you'd watch me. And the beginning of the book is so different from the end of the book. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I've had a lot of feedback that way. I would say the book is almost kind of split into half. There's kind of a book 1, which is very light and very glamorous and very glitzy. And when you go into book 2, kind of the second segment of the book, we get to know a little bit more about Buntle, like her inner psyche, her inner world, because she is a very deceptive narrator. So in the first part of the book, kind of she's.
I'm going to interrupt you just because I'm a really bad interviewer. I'm just so
no. I'm a bad interviewee because I talk a lot. So
no, I love it. No, because but the narration because this is a comedy. So Comedy Women in Print is a comedy prize. But this is so dark. Where it goes is harsh. It hurts the heart to read. But we are so connected. So let's do the comedy to start with, because I think when you start reading the book, already it goes book 1, Welcome to My Fabulous Life. So you are full of irony. Would you agree with that? I think your narrative tone epitomizes irony. Is that?
Yes, I actually see this book as satire because, you know, even her
Yeah.
tone is quite satirical. Yes, I would agree
Yes.
with that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it's like you don't quite. That is what's so clever, because I'm not going to gush the whole time, but actually I have to gush because it is we kind of get drawn in, because actually no one obviously, does she really read The Secret? Does she really believe in The Secret? Does the stuff, I mean, you know, when people list their books, you are so funny. What does she read? She reads her role models. My role model is Donald Trump. I have his motivational book. Richard Branson's, well, I confess I have. The other books I love are Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and Why Men Love Bitches. Oh yes, I have a PhD in Mencology, baby. So that tells the story. So you're doing it tongue in cheek, but real.
Yes.
She believes in that, does she? She believes.
Look, you know, she believes in it, but we can't really be sure. Because, for instance, she says that she's read Donald Trump, which I'm sure none of us are going to bother doing. But
Apparently, less so than ever. But hey, yeah.
So she claims to have, you know, this kind of collection of self-help books. But towards the end of the book, she says, you know, she's still reading Donald Trump. She's, you know, and in the beginning you're thinking, okay, she's done with this. This is what has motivated her, what has driven her to be who she is. So a lot of what she says, you do have to take with a bit of pinch of salt, because she wants to project this image of somebody who is very secure in who she is,
Yes.
who has,
Sassy,
you know,
determined.
sassy, determined, very successful, and all of that. But, you know, so in the beginning, you kind of thinking, you know, she starts contradicting herself very early on in the book, and you're thinking, maybe I shouldn't believe everything she says. I must just kind of be calculated in what I'm going to believe about
and
this.
then also within the kind of style, she is talking to.
Are we drinking wine already, Helen? Sorry.
I'm on the wine. Have you got a glass, darling?
Yes, darling.
Cheers to you. Cheers to all our people
too.
are just loving this. So many people are joining in with questions, but this is like cheers.
Cheers.
So when there are so many things. Donald Trump does get a second message, but a mention, but only again with irony, because she talks to the reader as if the person is live, almost like a diary. So that, and she addresses the reader, and then we know that she loses confidence in case that we don't like her. It's so layered, this voice of this amazing heroine, and everybody loves this heroine. And as I say, I've spoken to quite a few people who absolutely loved it, but she's a screw up, isn't she? Or what is she buying? What has she bought? South Africa. She mentions apartheid. Talk about your thing of, I've got to find.
She mentions apartheid in the most ridiculous way that it's ever been mentioned. Yes, because she says she believes people didn't die in the struggle against apartheid so that she could go around wearing promotional T-shirts. So she believes that, you know, the struggle for freedom is the struggle for her to be able to afford all these luxurious things.
But this is great satire. So I don't think we have a lot of that, do we? I mean, do you think that you're a bit of a groundbreaker in nailing that that voice? If she really believes it, obviously the reader will see the layering and not believe it. I mean, yes, as you say, she's a businesswoman, so money is of high value, and then she criticizes another woman. Your detail and your detail about other people is so good. So she's talking about this other businesswoman. She's one of those basic people who go around with a German cut hairstyle, short nails. Sorry, it's lockdown. I haven't got my acrylics. No name brand jeans and promotional T-shirts. I mean, there are people who still go around wearing promotional T-shirts. It makes my blood boil. There ought to be a law against that one. Seriously, people who died for our freedom didn't sacrifice their lives for us to be wearing promotional T-shirts. So where is she at with her recent history, with South Africans' recent history? You know, she's sending it up, but she's not sending it up.
Yeah, well, where she's at is at a so in South Africa, I don't know if you're aware of this. There's legislation to it's called there's a law that's called a Black economic empowerment, like yeah, broad-based Black economic empowerment. So where she's at in our current climate is that she wants to exploit this, you know, as much as she can. She wants to make as much money as she can without breaking a sweat. And like this is kind of the big thing about her, is that she does not want to break a sweat. So she uses these men who are her blessers. So this
we
is
have to
so
explain this term because I know you will have said this thousands of times, but so the blessed is the man who pays for the sex. Is that right?
the blesser, yes, is the man who pays, you know, who pays. So the relationships, it's a subculture. It's a thing here in South Africa. So it's not something that I made up. It's kind of this delinquent subculture that started around 2017. So what you'd find is that, you know, there's a lot of, you know, ridiculously wealthy men who are usually married. And obviously, and well, most of the time they're married to somebody that they've been with for years and years and years before the wealth, basically. And so what you find, and how this subculture kind of grew, is that what you find is that a lot of these men are now experiencing a life that they didn't have access to, you know, because of apartheid, because, you know, Black people couldn't have access to big opportunities and big money and big business.
Right.
So with this enjoyment of this new luxurious lifestyle comes, you know, the need or the desire for a trophy,
and they can
wife or
I mean, it's accessible. It's become available. It's a new phenomenon, along with the social media theme, which again she with irony you know, keeps clicking herself. So she is saying that her role in society is because of social media. I mean, she's only doing what she's doing. So social media, in a way, is responsible for this new behavior as well.
Yes, because it kind of propels her into this mini, what they call them micro celebrities. So she's kind of a micro celebrity, a social media influencer.
A micro celebrity is somebody, Abigail Mann, who these nice people are joining us. She got published.
The book sounds amazing. She says pre-ordered. Yes,
she's already pre-ordered it, because I honestly think people should read this just because of the layering, because it, particularly now with what's going on now, without over or understating the relevance, the connection rather, and relevance. It is a study in how comedy can be so layered, and then you're so invested in it. Then it goes, but I've got to ask you about the pain. But so there's so much, and I've got to cram it in. Can I just do I want to do the funniest bit, the overtly funny. Okay, here is
go for it.
We'll do overtly funny, and then we do pain, because that us comedy writer performers,
pleasure and pain.
And we do pain, we do comedy, we do pain, we do. It's the same thing. But this chapter, a friend of mine Anna actually said, "Oh, you must talk about this chapter," and she's absolutely right. So you go into different styles. I'm not going to read the chapter, that would be dreadful. But the title is How to Travel Well with Your Borrowed Lover, A Mistress's Guide. Because you've already earned the right for the reader to understand where our heroine is coming from. My particular favourite is she's advising people what to do with a blesser. Yeah, the blesser. So she says, if you want to show off your how loaded he is, learn half body photography, capture the designer pants, shoes and watches, but don't ever make the mistake of taking a picture of his entire body. And that's funny, but it's harsh and it's awful. It's like, but she likes sex though, doesn't she? She does quite enjoy sex.
She likes sex, but it's not the main thing that draws her to these men. To be honest, the main thing that draws her to the men is the money. So the sex is kind of a secondary benefits, if I can use that word. But the main thing that drives her is, you know, the need to acquire things, and these men give her access to the things that she desires.
And how usual is it? I mean, I saw an interview you were saying some people would say, look, was it ever thus? You know, that
very knowing phrase like there's always been prostitution, there's always been sugar daddies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But you are onto something different here from your observations where you live, that this is more current, isn't it, this behavior?
This behavior is more current, and as I said before, I think what propels it is the need for the men as well to flaunt what they have. And I think, you know, the younger women, because they're so glamorous and they're so out there, they have kind of been associated with this new standard of wealth. So
Wow.
if I'm suddenly owning, I don't know, a lot of mansions and a lot of money and all of that, the only other thing that I need to add to my list of achievements is a beautiful young woman. But what has been so the strange thing, I don't know, I suppose it is the strange thing for me anyway, which actually got me to write this book, is that the younger women are also equally happy. There's a lot of beautiful young women who are equally happy to be in these relationships with these older men, and they actually tend to, the women that I've spoken to, they tend to hate the idea of being depicted as victims. You know, they want their agency. They feel that they have agency over the situation. They feel powerful because they feel that they have control over these men.
Yeah.
And they also love the fact that once they're done with the bad sex, they can just dispose them to their wives and continue with their lives. Yeah.
This is huge, because somebody else has said, wow, enticed. Somebody before Fiona said, loved your book, Angela. But the thing is, I don't think this has been nailed so much. And in a way, it is quite a simple, not simple, unintelligent, but it's a simple principle, a consequence of apartheid, possibly, or compounded by circumstance, wealth, social media, people wanting to survive, people, you know, learning this is how they can succeed, and their genuine belief. And then
you've nailed it.
And you've nailed it in the book. But my joy is that you have written a compelling book, and that's so difficult to do. And then I know we're being more serious than often I am, but you've got this mix of comedy, of her self-deluded. Am I arrogant to say that she's self-deluded? So maybe she's not. You're saying this is her trope. This is she's doing it. She's feisty, lovable, incorrigible character.
Yeah, I mean, there is an element of delusion. I mean, so this is the strange thing also about the book, is that I've written two versions of it. So this is the South African version of it. Which book cover you don't have? It's a different book. Yes. So you see, my book is prettier than your book. I'm joking.
Isn't it interesting? Why are they different? Why have they got different covers?
So the ending of these two books is different. So everything about the storyline is the same. Well, you know, I think about like 80% of the storyline is the same except the ending. So because obviously the ending is different, so I start to kind of, with the UK version, I obviously have to start introducing different elements, probably third way through the book.
Wow.
And the reason is because
it's just so mind-blowing. It's just, this is such a huge subject. That's why I'm like, because we don't want to give it away, but where we go, people have to read this, because where we go, I didn't see it coming, but other people say they saw it coming. The end, and the thing. Yes,
the thing. And so back to your issue about, you know, how it's kind of lightness and dark and really, really kind of dark topics here. So the South African ending is actually darker than the UK version.
It's darker? Listen, this was dark. This was like,
feel bad.
This had me kind of quite choked, because but it was survival, because I loved her, and I loved her jaunty ability to
bounce
own
back
her sexuality, and it was so new, and using money. Nobody does this, you know. And
I know.
And then oh God, so wait, okay, I just want to ask you, so why did you do it? So it was more harsh in the South African version?
Yes, it was harsher in the South African version. And I've actually, to be honest, had a lot of readers who fell hopelessly in love with this girl. They love to hate her, but then they end up loving her. And so they feel that I've given her a really rough kind of run towards the end, because like I'm saying, it's more tragic than the UK version. And so when I was speaking to my UK editor, it was one of the big issues that they had, that Bloomsbury had, was that the ending was a bit too harsh. So because you already have bad weather, Helen, in the UK,
we do.
I could not do that to you. I could not give you this ending.
I can only apologize about the rain and everything. It's all me. No, but I just, but whatever the content, the factual content, you by the time you've got to the end of the book, you've gone through all this, like, for instance, to send up these businessmen what is it's a kind of Bridget Jones, but it isn't. You know Bridget Jones?
I know Bridget Jones very well, yeah.
And this is like sort of 20, 30 years on. This is an extraordinarily anarchic, powerful, strange, disconcerting, worrying Bridget Jones. It is worrying. But I love
it's the Bridget Jones where, you know, instead of drinking the red wine, you have to drink tequila or whiskey on the rocks.
What you've done is you've done sex as a transaction, made it fun, you've made it funny, and you've explained, you've just turned so many things on its head, all with humor. So we're gunning for this character. What do we think about the male characters? What's your, do you have any affection for Mr. Emmanuel, who or was it Teddy? You know, these not sugar daddies. They're not just sugar daddies. Did you like them?
I think my soft spot lies with, you know, Papa Jeff, because he's kind of the most gentle with her, and he's the most patient. I think he's out of all the men, I would say that his is the closest approximation to love, like to kind of a tender love. She claims that she doesn't seek real love from these men. She's happy for, you know, just kind of a comforting fondness, I suppose.
Well, that's right. So and she doesn't, as I said earlier, she doesn't dislike sex. So it's not a book about victimization or exploitation.
No, she's not a victim at all.
There's tacit agreement between each party to get something, and I don't think we've ever seen that. I haven't seen that in a book and in comedy.
Thank you.
That's what's so exciting, and also sort of demonstrating a window into a culture, but it's probably everywhere now. Do you think
it's everywhere now?
Right. Because I think I read that you studied, so I think it goes on so many levels, but to make sex funny, so she's very early on in the book, she's with her strange, damaged, if I may say, family, but what family isn't? That's not
what family isn't. Yeah, we're all dysfunctional in our own ways.
You know what, we've all been there, version of it. But it says, next thing I know, Uncle Chino and I just went from family ties to bondage. So what's great is, like, you paint this, that's just a tiny soundbite, and when you do a soundbite, it always falls flat also because we've got no
sounds
audience.
Shocking now. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, who?
No, if we went to Hay Festival, they'd be laughing in the aisles. It's this lockdown mentality of kind of, you know, functioning in an isolated bubble. But what we are doing is, this is so valuable, because I just find, what else can I say to you?
I'm so glad you didn't read the scene where she goes to the doctor after being with Mr. Emmanuel.
Do it.
I'd be mortified.
I love that.
No,
scene.
you do it. I don't have the guts to read that one.
Do we not go to the Dr. Hines scene? Because actually
go into, no, we can go into it, but I'm saying I can never read that scene because I just start blushing and start. It's so please funny. Read it if you've got the guts to do it.
Do you know, Angela, I'm so with you, because when you have to, promote a book, you go, like, I wrote a comedy novel and there was a chapter 11 was a colonic. Okay. And then you just go, do I read this at the Hay and Wine Festival with the people in the Pacamax who've just seen Andrew Marr, or shall I hold off on it? But somebody earlier on who'd given us a question actually referred to that scene. So it's obviously
I saw it. That's why I thought of it. That I saw it earlier on in our conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to read that twice. What you've got is a really funny idea about an activity that caused a consequence, a sexual activity that caused a consequence, and a situation with the doctor, and it was really funny. So people would take that image away. So when did you write this, Angela? Because this is your third book.
It's my
25.
My fourth book. My fourth book, yeah.
So you've done crime, and then
yes.
Was this like a positive thing to go? I'm going to do. I mean, this is your. I love this voice. You've got to do more like this. Just this.
Oh, really? Do you think that's yeah? You're not the first person to say that. But, yeah. Okay.
Were your other books in the same genre? I know that. What was it? The 30th Candle. Somebody said
the 30th Candle is the most similar to the Blessed Girl. So we're not going to use that word about literature being agenda. We're not going to use that term, right?
No, we don't. And
no,
what was the term that we don't use?
Where we categorize agenda as if it's a genre.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with that. No,
that
word. This is what you're creating something new. Somebody, Fiona, who's just said, I was hoping for a sequel. So she wants a sequel to this. But it's quite interesting because personally, I had to be picked up from the floor when I finished this. So we've got to kind of, with this wonderful, wonderful heroine. I mean, your lovely heroine who starts off like this, and then we go back, mother-daughter relationship we've got.
Yes.
I mean, God, that made me angry.
No, that's a very sad part of it. And I'm actually glad this is the first book that I've written in first person. And I mean, as I said, this is a real thing in South Africa. It's a subculture. And when it started, it was quite disturbing to me, because I'm surrounded by, I'm not a young woman. I've got younger women around me. And,
very young to me. Yeah.
You
are young. Trust me. It's fine.
So when I saw it, I was kind of disturbed by it, but I didn't want to be judgmental in depicting this character. And so that's the reason why I chose to write it in first person, because I wanted to remove the judgment and actually walk in her shoes. And that's how that mother-daughter dynamic came to be, because I wanted to also understand why she would make the kind of choices she makes. Because as much as I talk about how she has agency, like there's scenes where she's sitting, for instance, with her best friend who's kind of in a traditional, quiet, happy relationship with somebody her age, and there's that moment where she kind of wonders if this could not be a possibility for her, because she knows that she's chosen a completely different path. And of course, she's human. And I think at our core, we all have that need to be genuinely loved by someone, right?
We start out with that hope, yeah.
Yeah, we start out with that hope.
Normal.
I like your choice of words.
That's what we do. But that's
hope springs eternal.
That scene was very memorable, because that was somebody I was going to ask you about, because they're watching a movie, so you've got a normal couple, and then again it goes into this other landscape. So they're watching a romantic, and Bonto doesn't want to watch it, and the boyfriend asks her, do you seriously hate romance, and were you raised by wolves? And Bonto says, I told you, really, real life is not like that. You black men got so messed up by apartheid, you're incapable of the kind of love displayed in these movies. So rather than set myself up for heartache, I chose to be realistic. And that was a whole pocket of, yes, you saw a loving couple who didn't aspire to, the riches.
Yeah.
And it also comes back to the cultural reference that she
Yes.
fights or references. It's, oh my God, it's so interesting. But but on a basic level, when any of us are single, and then we see a couple who are loved up and seemingly don't need, they're just in their pajamas. It's kind of annoying, isn't it? It's kind of annoying.
It's an annoyed envy.
It's like, how come it's so simple?
Yes, why? I mean, why would they write so many manuals and books when some people just sit around in pajamas and just love each other and it's enough,
It's very threatening. And as you say, that would charge her with the thing of, why hasn't she got it? What she lost. Oh God, it's hard. Will you promise to
are we out of time?
I know I can't bear this. Can we, I mean, I've probably not been my most eloquent myself, but only because I've been actually bowled over by your book.
I see all your highlights and your notes. It's quite a lot of notes.
I know, I did a lot. I did, but talking to you is better. And also because we're in this time of rioting and stuff, any insights? It just feels a very kind of heightened time to be talking about life, would you say, without making
about life,
anything?
about choices, about values, about what we put out on social media, like the life that we would like to portray versus the life that we actually live, which is usually a much simpler, a much more boring existence than what we'd like, to put out there in the world, which is that is the essence of Bontle's life, life experience. She lives, kind of this double life where she always wants people to envy her and to desire to be who she is and what she has. But when she's all alone,
somebody has said this was so brilliant, Bontle forever. I mean, the thing is, you really have created an incredibly original heroine.
Thank you.
And I think it will open up, it should be a film if it isn't already, but it's so deep what it opens up in society. And I mean, I got that, we got that in one book. I mean, it was painful, but as I say, we invested in it. It's just huge. I tell you what, the number of people, anyway, I don't need to advertise it. Do you any advice for us right now on social media? I know that's segueing slightly, but what advice should we all have in these times? Do we say things on social media right now, or do we hold back, or do we just try and do good deeds? Or with these, this is a difficult time in Britain at the moment. If you know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to take you into an area that. I say we are aware.
I just think we should be kinder. I think we should just be kinder and also a bit real if we can. I saw a post recently where somebody was, and I think that somebody was a psychologist or somebody in that kind of space, and they were saying, I'm so fortunate that I've got friends, I've got this great life. I don't need validation from social media. And I actually thought that was quite insensitive, because some people are all alone and they actually use this platform to feel like they are not alone,
That's right. And
so I just think we should just be more careful.
Yeah, this is modern now. Yeah, exactly. I was just echoing what you're saying, because you can't put the clock back. This is the world we live in now. We have evolved to be in this circumstance, so we can't say
and with
it's
this
wrong.
lockdown, a lot of people are locked down on their own, so they rely on social media to feel human, to feel like they're here, they're being heard, they're connecting with people. So that's why I'm saying I just think we need to be kinder, even to the Bontles of this world. We need to be kinder, because you don't know why that person's doing what they do.
I love that. And my version of that's so lovely, because it's like try and frame things differently, because there's so much toxicity right now. Can we frame it? Can we learn? Can we ask questions? So these conversations, have conversations. It's a hard day, but all I say is, well, what I say, not all I say, there's more. What I say is, this is a wonderful long listed comedy women in paper book, but I think more significant than you even know. So well done. And can we have another chat another time? Because we only just began. We can, you know, have
certainly laughs. I'd love that. I enjoyed our chat.
Thank you.
Cheers to you.
Thank you. Cheers to you, Angela. You did a great job. You really did. I've drunk more than you. I love you very much, and I'm going to press end. And thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you everyone for watching. Sorry we couldn't get to all your questions and comments, but they're all appreciated.
It's too exciting. Okay, lots of luck. I love your book. Bye,
Thank
Angela.
you. Thank you so much, Helen. Love you too. Bye.